IG, they do go into the Rubik. Seems like I mean Rubik's pretty darn good always. Apparently with the arcane supremacy into a Pangoli, into a Dazzle, it can't hurt to ever have a Rubik.
hmm Yeah, I mean it's just so versatile, right? You steal the Rolling Thunder, suddenly the Rubik's cube is rolling around in these team fights, and yeah, I mean any sort of venge ability is just really handy to have.
I wonder when they'll end up nerfing this hero, this Rubik. It seems like arcane supremacy is just too good of an aura, right? You just steal any spell and then it's just a million times better on your hero. Just doesn't seem to make too much sense. But I
Yeah,
wonder.
I mean that's the thing with Ice Frog's balancing style, though, right? I don't think he's ever going to take that aspect of Rubik away. They just need to make him weaker in other areas. So maybe nerf his Fade Bolt a little bit so his laning is weaker, so that you actually need to put in a bit more of a risk to get to that stage.
Right. Fair point. I mean, look, for me, Rubik already seems kind of weak in the laning. I guess Fade Bolt's still too good. They increased the mana cost though, right? If I remember correctly, on Fade Bolt a couple patches ago.
They did, but it's so effective at being able to deny or assist with your denying in the lane, right? Because of the attack damage reduction that you get from it. Sure, you need to
Mm.
be mindful about not pushing out your lane all too much, but just being able to get essentially a creep wave's worth of denies, or at least a couple each time, is just so valuable.
No, I guess I have to agree with that. Of course, CDEC, Daniel, they go into the Ember. I honestly can't believe it wasn't banned out up until this point because it feels like every team is just going Ember these days because it's just such great utility. Into the DP as well, like you got a natural Spirit Vessel carrier now in that Ember Spirit. It seems like it's a pretty good hero for CDEC to pick up.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. It gives them an extra amount of catch as well, although you've got a ton already if you're able to get the swap off or have Pangolier initiate. You probably want to be going in first with the Ember just to get that Searing Chains combo off.
Right. IG though, respond with the Morphling now. Hmm. I you know, this Morphling pick, like, it feels like there's some really nice morph targets in the Dazzle, in the Pango, I guess, as well as the Ember. Into the Ember Spirit, though, like, again, natural Spirit Vessel carrier, I kind of wonder, was this a smart pick by IG?
It can be all right. I mean, we keep talking about these things with it's so strong if you've got these other great heroes to morph into. Morph's just great in his own right. You can easily pop a couple of these heroes, Dazzle especially. I think that's going to be the main target for the Morphling, and it also gets rid of some of these. Well, you don't want to really be going a strength core these days anymore, right? Because Morphling, a lot of his shotgun damage comes from having a ton more agility than any sort of strength hero, and as well on top of that, now strength doesn't give that passive magic resistance too, so it's just a lot more deadly.
True, very true. I kind of wonder when we'll finally see Morphling out of the meta. Like, it just never seems to disappear, this darn hero. It's always around, always effective. Teams seem to love it. Still, IG, we'll see the LC and PL ban come out from CDEC and IG respectively. I guess nothing too surprising there for IG's ban, right? Like, you get rid of the PL up against the Morph, and for the Ember, you don't really want to have the LC up against you. It's not too confusing.
Yeah, I think what are we gonna have to see? I'm sure we'll probably see an Ember Spirit. I'm just a bit worried about their damage, honestly, because, like you said, Spirit Vessel is a pretty good pick for him to
Hmm.
go here. But I feel like he also needs a Yules, just because if he does get silenced, he's going to be in a precarious position. If he gets soulbound by the Grimstroke, it's in a rough spot. I suppose you've got the Venge to save him, but I don't know. You need to be really on point and not getting picked off as this Vengeful Spirit if that's the case.
That's a very fair point. And going back to your point about damage, CDEC now, I guess the Drow will provide a lot of damage, but you've got this crazy, tanky, sustainable kind of lineup here from IG. Like, how do you kill this Death Prophet and a Morphling, and now an Abaddon on top of that with the heroes CDEC has?
Yeah, it's going to be rough. I mean, they've got a lot of survivability on their side, especially once that Morphling gets those early few levels, right? You just morph into strength, you're completely fine. Um, and any sort of chase down that they might have, you can just really quickly purge it off. So it's a position 3 Abaddon. I really don't think the 5 Abaddon is a thing anymore ever since you can't deny yourself, but it gives them a bit more pushing power as well, which is always really helpful.
Very true. Should be going into the game very, very soon. This is, of course, game number 1 between CDEC and IG. IG, I imagine, are looking to be the heavy favorites going into this matchup, the first series of the CDA DPL. Never know, though.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, the thing is, we talked at the very start of the draft about all these scrims that are going on, right? They, at least I hope, this is something that they've thrown in completely as a curveball, this style of draft, because in this entire patch, I mentioned they hadn't picked Venge, they haven't picked Drow, they've only banned Pangolier before, and they've banned Venge once, I believe, and no picks. So Ember Spirit's really the only hero that they're at least picking with any sort of regularity.
I see. All right. So, CDEC, I mean, they're trying something out. They're trying something new. See how it all pans out. It looks strange to me, certainly, and I'm sure you'd agree with it. But we'll go into it. We'll see what they have to show up against IG. It's going to be one of the definitely one of the tougher matchups going into this league for CDEC. So you're starting off with one of the harder ones anyway. By the way, Danog, for the viewers as well that aren't aware, we do have a series after this as well, and that's an even bigger one. Vici Gaming are going to be up against PSG LGD. That one should be pretty huge.
Yeah, that's pretty hype. And we keep talking about, like, this is the CDA DPL Season 1. We did have the CDA Season 1 League that just finished up a couple of days ago, or within the last week. And both of those teams performing really well in that. I believe LGD was second and maybe Vici was third. Only beaten out by Sparking Arrow, which was a little bit of a surprise packet. So it shows what these quote-unquote qualifier or promotion teams are able to do. So definitely won't be counting CDEC out here either.
"30 seconds to battle."
Yeah, and you mentioned CDEC as well, back with their TI5 run. That can't be discounted either, finishing up with second place. Only the $6 million Echo Slam was what held him back. Man, Aggressive played absolutely insane on that in that TI. I think he was probably the best player in all of that TI, to be completely honest. But unfortunately for those who have a bit of nostalgia and that sort of thing, not playing with this lineup here, he's trying something out for himself. I mean, it was, what, 5 years ago? When Silkbreaker and all that was out. Oh, that was such a good game mode. Yeah, he should be fine. It gets a lot easier for him at level 3, and that's the thing with running him mid too, right? You're going to get so much more farm. You can see that XM's having to use the Sleight of Fist to try and dodge some of these adaptive strikes, so he's not as easily able to use it to deny as well as last hit.
Looking up to that top lane as well. Fly and Ollie going to be there on the DP Grimstroke respectively, up against SRF and James. SRF going to be on the core Dazzle, it seems, and I guess it makes enough sense. I mean, we mentioned it in the draft, but you can't really afford to not have Dazzle farming, getting XP in this current meta. He definitely kind of needs to be run as a core.
Yeah, that snowball style, it's really effective. I'm just having a quick look at the bottom side. Not that there's many kills going on, but there's a good amount of synergy coming through here from the Drow and the Vengeful Spirit in terms of their last hitting. So good to see early on.
Oh, there is. I guess it's kind of to be expected as well. Like, when you got that Venge aura up, you're going to just guarantee the buff to the Drow, and the Drow's going to have an even easier time just getting those last hits out. CDEC just going to try and control the lane, it seems like, get the equilibrium going their way. And this lane is very tough. Like, up against JT on the Abaddon and Kaka on the Rubik, it's never going to be easy to really lane against these two. Especially once the Abaddon's got his levels up.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing that I'm finally happy to see, no headdresses. They're finally gone. That little bit of extra money that's needed means that you're not just starting with it in the lane.
I was getting sick of that meta. I really was. Like, it felt so stale to have to pick that item up. Oh, top lane. SRF will find the first blood onto Ollie. It's like it was just the poison touch and some right clicks from the Pango. James, he did commit swashbuckle.
Yeah. As soon as you hit up into that level 3, that poison touch becomes so much more dangerous.
Yeah. It's a really frustrating skill to have to play against as well. Just like every time it's about to wear off, you see an attack coming towards you. You know you're going to have to suffer through it for another 4 or 5 seconds again. It just sucks. Still, mid lane XM is starting to be a little more aggressive on the Ember Spirit, it seems. He is currently leading at 18-1 on this Ember. Emo constantly on very, very low HP, just trying to juggle those stats to be as efficient as possible.
Playing this bottom lane so well, just pulling it and pushing it at the right times. You can see they've got a nice little pull off into this small camp, so Drow's now going to be able to farm underneath the tower, just extending just far enough to bait out a potential rotation from Kaka as well as JT. And yeah, not staying in telekinesis range, so they're doing really well down here.
Certainly are, and that's going to pay dividends for the Drow. This Arme, of course, on the Drow Ranger, farming the best he can. Currently 12-3, but definitely keeping the equilibrium going their way. JT just trying to get in range for XP, but he's been left alone for the moment, so he's going to be a little bit careful how much damage he does take. In fact, they are going to start rotating around Arme. He's going to be there with Victoria, but now Kaka's back.
On the
This
bench.
magic missile lift is going to come out. Victoria may actually end up going down. They do proc the Curse of Avernus. JT, are you going to keep chasing for this? No, not quite. Victoria now will turn back with Arme. They have magic missile. They will get the stun off, but they will not follow up. JT, another aphotic shield.
Put it out of it.
Yeah, but that's a couple of range creeps suddenly going down, getting denied easily up. So yeah, it's a good amount of survivability. And Kaka, he's in a little bit of trouble now as well.
He should die, but that aphotic shield again going to save his life. JT going to be out of mana now, but continues to run forward. He just doesn't care.
I mean, this early on, they don't really want to be diving into a creep wave, especially as the support. And, well, to IG's credit, they're going to be able to get both of the bounty runes.
It's well played by them. Of course, I just had a quick look at mid, and XM almost going down to the Morphling being played by Emo. Luckily for him, he did have a Fairy Fire, so he did heal up through the Adaptive Strike. But it seems as though the Ember is starting to have a lot more of a rough time up against this Morphling.
Yeah. Well, he's hit onto his level 6 on Emo a little bit sooner than XM here.
Chains gonna come out, but Emo says, that's fine. I'll keep hitting you. Had it not been for that Flame Gun, I think XM may have been dead.
So Emo is just about surviving in this lane a little bit. What's the skill build we've seen on this Ember? Okay, so he's gone into the Flame Guard. No stacks yet for him, so that just goes to show the strength of CDEC's side lanes, that they've kept the pressure up and making sure that they want the cores in the side lanes to do well. Emo, we can see here, making quick rotation towards the top side.
Would you rather see the... in fact, we'll hold that thought, because Emo is making that rotation with a Haste Rune. Going to go after SRF, and SRF should have no way out of this. He doesn't have Shallow Grave, and he does go down, and now James will be chased down a little bit. He'll swashbuckle away. That is a very nice rotation from Emo.
Yeah, it's really effective. He's got the 3 Wraith Bands, so he's got a ton of last hit potential. Might be losing a couple of creeps underneath this tower, though. Not ideal.
Definitely not. He'll make his way back. That did give a bit more space for XM to try and catch up on this Ember. I was going to ask you before, though, do you think it's going to pay off for them not really stacking for XM? Like, do you prefer that they just take care of the side lanes here and kind of let XM deal with mid on his own?
I think it's the sort of thing where he can do it himself, but with this style of lineup that they've got, with any sort of dazzle thing, you always want to be taking the fights early, trying to run them over as soon as you've got, for example, your Pango ulti, although he's only level 3, and those neutral items that you can get from stacking things up and being ready at level 7, it just makes such a huge difference. Got a smoke coming through here from the supports on IG, trying to wrap around, maybe find... Well, Venge isn't the ideal target. You can see they're trying to dodge it as much as they can.
Well, they're gonna find Arme. Poor old Arme. Yeah, he gets lifted up, and Ollie's gonna be there with the Inkswell. There's no way out of this one. And in fact, Fly is also gonna rotate. He's hit level 6. They're gonna push a T1.
Got that exorcism. We can see here the Vengeful Spirit just sitting behind the towers. He's got his Wave of Terror available, but he's not even gonna try and throw it out to slow things down.
Would have probably just meant his death anyway. Yeah, they're still looking for him. In fact, they really want that kill, but looks like they're just gonna have to settle for taking that T1 bot tower. Though I do love the timing here from IG. Like as soon as you see the 6 on Death Prophet, there's 4 heroes down here trying to take a tower.
Yeah, and you might not even need to commit it with the Abaddon, right? You can just quickly burst down the tower, you just need those 4 heroes, and then you can use that Exorcism to transition into something else, whether that's pressuring this bottom tier 2 tower even further, or maybe heading towards top to defend, because we can see 3 people here on CDEC's side keen to make something happen.
Yeah, they're up top, Arme. Just gonna force in the top tier 1, so they'll go for a direct trade. But mid lane, Emo and Kaka are gonna lift up XM. It will not lead to anything. XM will be perfectly fine. We'll make a TP back to the fountain. But both top and bot tier 1s are now down. And well, so far, IG haven't chosen to really make that big rotation with the DP yet. They're just kind of holding out on the X's.
Maybe saving it for a team fight, realizing the need to be able to counter that first aggressive movement coming from CDEC, which might happen very shortly because Necrobook 1 has just finished on the Dazzle.
That's a big deal. SRF just bringing it out on his courier, and we will see a bit of a wraparound here from the Radiant CDEC. They're hanging into the Dire jungle, almost expecting the push to come in from IG.
They can see everything. They've got this Observer Ward on the high ground. You can see SRF, he's just having to play so far back, he's scared.
Yeah, IG, they just don't care at all. They just continue moving forward. Still Kaka. They're going to back off with Emo. Take it slow. In fact, JT is still very far forward, but he's an Abaddon. He'll be perfectly fine.
The positive thing about all this, though, is Drow's just sitting on the top, farming up, and if they don't make any moves quickly on IG, they're going to lose creeps underneath the tier 2 tower.
That is going to be very problematic, and well, yeah, the tier 2 just taking him out. We're going to see Kaka rotate in as the Rubik. He'll take care of it. And this is actually going to stop that mid push from happening.
I mean, you have to be very happy with that on CDEC. Gives them time to get a couple of extra item timings going on their end. You can see it is very much the all-in, not burst style, but push that they're going for with this Dazzle. He's got the Mechanism and the Guardian Greaves queued up already. And it is that Spirit Vessel that we were seeing before queued up on the Ember Spirit.
At what point do you think CDEC will start getting aggressive though? Like, do you think they just wait on SRF to really get to that, you know, that high point in levels and farm? Or could they do it earlier?
I think they probably do just want to wait for this Spirit Vessel if they can.
Right.
Just so that they could secure that team fight a little bit easier, maybe catch them off guard, because like we were saying before, they do have a lot of great tower taking potential with the Vengeur providing the extra damage, with the Dazzle and the Necrobook, he's able to push things out so easily, and of course the Drow's a sieging machine.
We'll see, they're just going to continue to take their time for now. Looks like top lane Arme is going to keep forcing the tier 1 in. Kaka will actually take the multi-shot for himself. They are forcing mid now. CDEC. XM going to make a jump. XM actually going to get jumped by Ollie. Inkswell does connect through the Sleight of Fist. He's still going to be fine, however. He wants to keep fighting with that Haste Rune, but now Soulbind will connect. It won't matter. They're both out. Just fine.
There's just no pressure being put on this Drow on the top side. He's farming really aggressively with no vision.
No respect being paid to Arme, apparently. He's just going to keep going. And, he might even find the tier 2 sooner or later if they keep this up
He's
mid.
coming back now.
Oh, they're going to go for a fight. Rolling Thunder is going to be there. JT does get hit. He is still a very tanky target and does have the borrowed time. They pop it. IG, do you want to keep going? Won't even matter. It's denied off the tier 1.
Yep. You got the Rubik's Cube available now, though, with Kaka getting a nice little spell stealer.
Do you smoke for this? Kaka, just get arcane boots, and yeah, they will smoke. Still having Exorcism as well, so definitely looks like a great team fight for IG to take. Find XM. Huge target, but can they get the initiation? Kaka gets the lift off now with the silence and Rolling Thunder. That's not a cube, Kaka. Someone hasn't been buying Arcanas for himself.
I mean, surely someone of his caliber can afford it, right?
You'd think so. Apparently not. Unfortunate.
I mean, it's nice to get a kill on this Ember Spirit and delay out that Spirit Vessel a little bit, but at the end of the day, Exorcism being wasted is a pretty big deal just for one kill when he's going to be back in another 5 seconds, and you don't have another Exorcism for 110 seconds.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they even popped that. Like, they're not going to go for another tower out of it, and now it does wear off. Maybe just a bit of overkill. It seemed like the Rolling Thunder and the Silence was going to be more than enough to control XM, and now Ollie may get caught out by the Rolling Thunder of James. Inkswell will be there, but it will not matter. James will still have the control. It's going to be a nice support kill coming out now from CDEC.
And importantly, it is that Ember Spirit picking it up as well. So all that gold that he lost to dying on that gank there, he's just got it straight back.
It's great news for CDEC. And, you know, you were talking about it before, but you look back at Arme, he's still freely farming the jungle now at the top lane. Like, he has not been touched. His net worth is slowly really starting to go up now with the Yasha. And he's going to have a Mask of Madness pretty soon, it seems.
Yeah, sometimes you might even be like a little frustrated with the fact that, oh, I've only got a faded brooch. For the style of gameplay that he's going, he's very happy with that, you know? It just lets him move around a little bit easier, lets him use the Frost Hours if he wants to on the harder creep camps. And, he's having a great time.
IG, you know, you make the comment, like, do they bother rotating onto him? They know exactly where he is at all times, basically, but they just haven't made a rotation. It just seems as though they're waiting on Emo to just finish off the full Ethereal Blade before they want to do anything with this Morphling.
It's going to be a while, though. Still 2,000 gold away. They might get some assistance here with the bounty runes. Ember Spirit having to be a little careful.
Silence comes out, but I don't think they have the damage, though. No, Chains comes out from Emo. It will not matter. He will Remnant away. IG just going to continue just trusting in this Morphling to farm up and do his job. They're not... I don't know. I kind of doubt this. They're going to try on James now, top lane. JT, he's going to let him go. Not going to bother.
What's James even buying as well? We haven't seen too much of his skill build. Maybe he's going for the Blink Dagger so they can have that early initiation coming through.
It is going to be the Vladimir's. He just queues it up. It looks like he was trying to decide himself. I mean, you spoke about it in the draft, right? As much auras as possible on the support Pango. That is
and
what
we're seeing auras not just on him as well. We're seeing Venge. She's got the Helm of the Dominator queued up. Dazzle has Mechanism finished if he wants to buy it now. Just wanting to make the most out of his unreliable gold, farming up the way first.
JT? Top lane. Gonna be there, but shouldn't be able to defend.
There's a lot of aggression not being punished here. You know, you've got the Dazzle on the bot side. No way of easily getting up there really quickly. Yeah, you can TP to the shrine, but that's 6 seconds. And you're still not keen to go on this Drow Ranger.
I agree. I think IG's playing way too passively. It's strange to me that they're just kind of playing the farm game up against the Drow Ember. But that's exactly what they're doing. They're just more than happy to delay this as now top lane Arme. He's going to jump onto Kaka, and Kaka can't survive it. He was silenced up, and he does die. And JT, his borrowed time gets popped. A nice swap from Victoria. Can you cancel the TP? Well, of course you can. You had another swap available, and JT will go down as well. A double for Arme.
Yeah, and now they've got these timings. If Drow wants to, she can purchase up the Mask of Madness, just does, and it's go time. You know, you've got Necrobook, now you've got the mechanism on the Dazzle here, getting closer and closer to that Vlad's. It's looking really good for them. Only about, what, 600 gold away from finishing up that Spirit Vessel as well, so if you're going to go into this E-Blade build here on the Morphling instead of something like a Manta style, you're going to be in a precarious position as well.
They certainly are. And CDEC will just continue. I mean, it's only... We're 17.5 minutes in. It's 4-3 with a 1k advantage to CDEC. IG must be feeling very confident with their draft to keep this up. Still no rotations. Still no exorcism being popped. Fly, they're going to start forcing in that bottom tier 2, but there's really no urgency for this push. They're just going to slowly push it down with auto attacks. But there are going to be rotations here from CDEC. They're going to try and get in and stop this from happening, though Ollie does scout it out with Stroke of Fate, or apparently he didn't. They will stun him up, and he will go down as now they try for more Fly. He will run away in time.
Yeah, able to do that without even having the Nether Swap available, so it just shows the strength of their multiple forms of initiation there.
Why are IG doing this, though? Like, is it really this safe to trust in a Morphling by himself?
That's the plan that they've got. Well, we'll see if it works for them. I suppose it's good to have confidence in your team fighting capabilities and just say, look, once it comes time, we're going to be able to outplay them. But I think there's an extent for that, because you can just see all of these items coming up. Spirit Vessel finished on the Ember, Guardian Greaves finished on this Dazzle. And, you know, being silenced up by this Death Prophet, if you're the Dazzle, suddenly isn't a huge deal anymore. You can just Greaves the debuff off.
Oh, IG, they've smoked up.
Maybe not if you get skanked by this, but I'm liking his positioning, staying in the trees, making sure that the creep wave would reveal any sort of aggression first.
They're going top. They want to try and go after Arme, and Arme, he's got the Mad Drop now. He actually sold the Mask of Mana straight away, it looks like. And IG, they're going to place some nice wards, but they're not really going to find anything yet. Is Arme going to start looping around? It seems CDEC now will smoke up and loop the other way. They know exactly where they are.
To be careful here, though.
James going to go straight onto Kaka. They want that support. Rubik dead. He does get a lift. They try to blow up one, but it was SRF and he heals himself up. Now Fly going to pop the Exorcism. Meanwhile, James just going onto Ollie. Emo does end up finding Victoria, but both teams are really staying apart from each other, and now IG, they just want to back off as James. He continues moving forward, but he's all by himself. And that's going to be a 2-0 trade as now Arme comes in, but they've lost SRF on the Dazzle, and they're going to surround this Drow. XM, he finds Kaka. Yeah, they're buying back. Victoria, he does come in to try and save his Drow, but this doesn't look great. XM at least finds Ollie, but you've lost Arme now. XM, he finally comes back. Remnants forward with the Spirit Vessel. He does get the trade on Emo, and now JT falling very, very low. He'll also go down to the Wave of Terror.
I mean, eventually it works out for CDEC, but having to expend the buyback on the Venge, not the worst, but just taking that team fight with zero vision was really hindering for them. We could see there after the Venge got popped, Morph also got rid of the courier that was carrying some of that vision. So, I mean, there's confidence, but also you don't want to be fighting blind at nighttime.
No, definitely not. There was a lot of, you know, kind of kiting away from CDEC. It just seems they weren't too confident. Apart from James, who just kept going forward. He just didn't care on the Pango. And I guess it works out. It did cost CDEC one buyback, and it was a 4-for-4 trade. So, it's pretty...
I think it's okay. If it's just the Venge, it's alright. And James, he has that confidence. You know, that's the thing. As this position for Pango as well, you can go the 4 points into the shield crash and suddenly be that person that just throws yourself in the middle of these team fights. Or another team fight might be coming up here. IG no.
Yeah. Great scan from IG. Straight as though they walked into the Roshan pit. JT, he's going to scout this out. They'll go again onto Arme. They want that Drow, though. Nice Gust is going to be there. Yeah, they will end up finding Victoria. No Rolling Thunder really coming out. James, he doesn't commit. And now IG, they continue moving forward. They know they've got the advantage, but they can't find anybody. CDEC now want to move back into this team fight, 4v5. And it seems as though they're just trying to protect this Roshan, but IG, they're not afraid. They're going in. XM, double chains. Gust is going to be very, very nice with the multi-shot.
Man, any other hero other than this Vengeful Spirit dying after having fought back previously would have been horrible, but just that max story, you can still make a big impact.
Rolling Thunder, but it does get stuck with the Soulbind. Still, they found the DP. She's just kind of stuck in place now. She does get away. Exorcism has been popped. They'll continue moving forward as JT does use the borrowed time. SRF, he's in huge trouble on the Dazzle, and looks like he will die. As Kaka trying to run away. Multi-shot does not connect on him, and now James, he's been left alone. Looks like he should also go down with the rest of his team. And does. As now, Ame, he stuck around. He got used up by Fly, and they will just slow him down. Nice swap out from Victoria to save. XM, meanwhile, does find Ollie in the backlines, but he's being chased by Emo. They do get Victoria on the Venge, and it looks like XM will be able to remnant his way up, but Roshan should go the way of IG.
Should. You can see they're trying to make something happen around it though, Venge. Scouting it out, dead for the next 20 seconds. Are they going to at least try for the last hit on it for a bit of experience? But no.
It's a good try. IG, they will take it for free. And great team fights from IG, and CDEC, again, I've got to say, Daniel, they look very hesitant going into these team fights. It's kind of like half the team wants to go and the other half doesn't.
Yeah, they're just not feeling completely confident, which it's a little weird, right? They got all of their key item timings. It just goes back to that high ground fight on their tri-camp area. To fight that at nighttime with no vision, it's just so weird to me. And maybe just pushing a little bit too aggressively for what they were ready for.
Well, now CDEC back to the drawing board, just going to keep farming up. Got to be concerned now, though, IG. They have the Aegis on Emo, and you'd imagine they'd want to get a tower or two before that does expire.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. With all of this, these timings, you can see the win probability, it's sitting about 50-50. I'm feeling much more strongly about IG's style now, because now you've got Emo, as you mentioned, getting closer towards that ultimate orb, so his survivability in team fights is going to skyrocket.
Certainly going up. Tier 1 top does also go down. Looks like CDEC will be there to try and trade the bottom tier 1. IG, they're not really stopping though. They're just going to keep going for the next one.
Yeah, enormous creep wave. You've got this Abaddon with the max Curse of Avernus. I suppose you could push this to wave out a little bit with a glyph, but nice glyph timing from IG as well.
And now IG, they'll be ready to defend that bottom tier 2 if it comes to it. Still CDEC, they will TP up top. They will make sure that tier 2 doesn't go down either. So both teams essentially find a somewhat even trade.
That's the thing as well. With Emo sitting here on the top side, he can do this, because if you have a look at the dire vision, it's completely on this top side of the map. A couple of wards just expiring, so it makes it a little bit worse for them. Ooh, but
Victoria.
Stuff like that can happen.
Yeah, it certainly can. Emo just blows up Victoria. Gets a bounty rune for himself, I believe. Now they actually found another. XM, that's a huge kill if they can get it. Chains is going to be there. Now the silence. Oh boy, CDEC, they're starting to fall apart. You've still got the Aegis, you've still got the Exorcism.
No.
They found another Emo. Didn't get Chains off this time, but...
IG stole CDEC's telescope from
that's
neutral
not
drop.
nice.
That is enormous. Like, that would have been such a huge item for this Vengeful Spirit.
That is a problem. CDEC just losing everything, it seems, in the past 5 to 10 minutes, and now they're going to lose a tier 2. In fact, they're going to lose James as well. Shallow Grave is going to be there, but he doesn't have Swashbuckle, and he's been silenced anyway. Still, can he get out? Not quite. Fly picks up the kill. That tier 2 goes down. And I wonder, do you keep going? You've still got Aegis. They say yes.
Yeah, still have Aegis for, what, the next 2 minutes? And, well, getting much closer. He's keen to finish up that that Manta style. I think that's his career, sitting waiting at the Dire Secret Shop.
Oh, another one. They don't blow him quite up. Ame will be able to be swapped out. IG actually backing off now as James has a huge Rolling Thunder coming in. He does connect onto 2. Another swap coming out, this time Kaka. They will swap in Ollie instead. The Grimstroke will be the first target and should go down, but Victoria has also been blown up. And Firefly, with that Exorcism, just continues moving forward. It does wear off eventually, but still...
Swap.
Yeah, they found Ame with the stolen swap from Kaka, and now they at least lose Kaka in the process, but you've lost Ame. He has no buyback available. They pop a BKB on XM. Is it going to matter, however? Emo, he's just blowing everybody up. It's a triple kill on that Morphling, and he wants more. He'll go for the racks to start. But how do you fight this Morphling now?
You don't. That's the long and short of it.
Certainly seems that way. He doesn't care. He's still got the Aegis anyway. He's more than comfortable to just keep going.
Yeah.
And it looks like they are going to finally back off. Chains is there. Emo, he thinks about waveforming in. He will not.
I mean, that's the thing. You know, you've got the Aegis, you've got the Aphotic Shield, and you've got the Manta Style. So you're at no risk of dying.
Zero. Absolutely zero risk for Emo. And CDEC, they're on such a back foot now. 7k net worth lead for IG after that mid-racks. It's, they got everything they could have asked for to begin with, but you look at Arme's farm now. Like, Manta Dragonlance is nice and all, but it's nowhere near enough to deal with this Morphling or DP.
No, definitely not. I suppose hitting onto that level 15 is nice. Plus 12 agility, really helpful to have. But he needs to be careful about getting picked off.
It looks like he's going to get blown up. Yeah, Emo just has plenty of damage now. XM gets used up. Silence doesn't actually connect onto XM. Still Kaka. He still's Remnants. But that's not going to be enough as he doesn't have lift anyway.
Alright, Aegis is gone. So at least they've got that. You've got the potential to maybe burst down this Morphling. But with no Drow for 30 seconds, they're keen to just push in this wave. I don't think they'll get too much damage onto the tower before she's alive, but still, you're going to be on the back foot.
Emo with the double damage starts pushing in the wave, and Fly is also going to be there with the Exorcism, but they will not pop it. They're not risking it up against Arme's Drow. They'll take their time. You can only really get more farm anyway at this point of the game for IG. There's nothing really to lose here by just going back and farming up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Your draft was all about getting to this later stage of the game. CDEC, I think, played the first 15 minutes really well, but yeah, just that one team fight suddenly undoes a lot of that good work.
Kind of wonder now, can you see CDEC coming back into this? Like, what would they need to do to actually have a chance at pushing back up against IG?
Let's just have a quick look at the gold situation that exists currently on IG. I mean, they're doing a really good job at holding a lot of their buyback gold as well. So,
IG, lift, XM, getting caught out. The silence is there. He's been blown up again. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Popping his BKB, which I think is really weird considering he didn't have buyback gold.
Oh, that's a problem. IG, they want to test the waters now, see if he did have that buyback gold, and they're going to start pushing bot tower. CDEC, they need to get back. They can't really afford to try and push back at that top tier 3.
I don't think they can really do anything even when they do come back.
That's very true, they can't, as James going to get blown up though. No, Shallow Grave will be there in time, but he's been used up. They should have the damage output, and they do. Soulbind was stolen by Kaka as well. Make matters worse. This game looks to be coming to a close very, very soon, as IG will take the secondary racks. CDEC, it's just, what do you do here? Like, they can't take the final racks at least. The top tier 2 is still available, but you're just running out of options.
You are, you know, without these cores being alive, you can't defend. You know, Ember's probably one of the few that can from a relatively safe distance against that sort of high ground siege. But again, he hasn't gone the item build to be able to do it. No Maelstrom, nothing like that. And, well, we just go back to the telescope that IG were able to pick up from CDEC's side. That enables Kaka as well as the Grimstroke just to fight at a much safer range. And so they don't need to be putting themselves in harm's way, and that's what CDEC really need to get on top in these team fights, to get those early support picks off. But, yeah, just not happening. They would have smoked underneath an Observer Ward as well, so it's looking rough.
You'd never think one neutral item could make so much of a difference, but it really, really does. I'm sure Kaka's been enjoying that out of range quite a lot as we'll see it. They're going to smoke up.
They're just tanking up this smoke gank as well. Yeah. Put the Aphotic Shield onto the Rubik. He's got the Remnant. He blinks forward, breaks it, and then comes straight back.
It's real unfortunate. And it looks like IG know exactly where they are, so they'll start moving forward. CDEC need to back out right now, but JT, he just tries to bait them further in. James gets blown up again. Emo, he's on a godlike. Now a double silence coming up from Fly and the Soulbind is there. This is really, really bad news as they do shallow grave up Arme. He tries to TP, but Emo blows another one up. There's the Yules and there's the GG call coming out from CDEC. This game 1 is over.
Oh man, they were doing so well. I was really impressed by CDEC, their laning stage, their decision making, but man, when you're this close in the Chinese region, that's the big thing we see all the time, right? Is that when these teams go overseas, they tend to do really well, maybe middle of the pack, but there's so few games that go just a straight 2-0 that little mistakes like that can snowball into something much bigger, and IG doing a great job to capitalize.
You mentioned it as well, right? It was that one mistake, that one bad team fight they took that really forced them behind. And IG, they just never backed off after it. It was just constant aggression from them after that point. Still, luckily for us, Danok, it is a best-of-3 series. We'll be back for game number 2 within the next 5 to 10 minutes. It's MLP Dota and Danok Dota. We'll see you all again very, very soon.